with you along the way. I mean, right away, my attitude has improved, knowing that there's a chance that former Vice President Mike Pence could be president of the United States, because there's not enough fundamental religion in our daily lives. I always felt like, let's get it out of the church and let's get it into the legislature. Let's make people pray. Let's make people obey. And that's what we're about. And Mike Pence is that guy. You know, here's a guy who dutifully served his president, Donald Trump, amidst the lawlessness, the knee-jerk tweeting, the stirring it up with despots and fascist leaders like Kim Jong-un, and the love affair that Trump had with Vladimir Putin. Mike Pence was there. He was a Trump apologist. He was a Trump supporter. 4 solid years of service. And then, when he wouldn't help undermine the election, Trump helped stir the pot and almost get him executed in front of the Capitol steps. So it was quite the run he had. But he's lived to tell the story, and he's filed the necessary paperwork, as you heard Kim mention. I'm sure he's planning a bunch of big events and rallies outside of Des Moines, Iowa, because Iowa is the big kickoff. You've got Governor Chris Christie entering as well, as Kim mentioned. And I believe Sununu, who is from Rhode Island, he said he's not going to run. And you can check that. But I think that's correct. And so
Google it.
Yeah.
Burgum is expected to run. He's a governor. He's expected to jump into the race as well. I have a question for you, though. His name is North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
Well, that's not his name, North Dakota Governor, unless he changed it to North Dakota
title
Governor.
And his name. Yes,
oh, I see. Okay, very good.
Thank you for keeping me honest.
Well,
Yeah.
There's a certain purity that we try to. We have processes and protocols and standards.
Clear.
We have processes and protocols and standards.
That's all I'm saying.
So here's the question. Do you think it's worse? What's worse? Would you rather, game? Have a guy who truly believes in, religion and the tenets of his religion, but then is challenged in his job, stays the course, even though he probably shouldn't, because everything that's happening really goes against everything he believes in? Or would you rather have a guy like Trump who says he believes, but he really doesn't, and it's all just giant hypocrisy?
Well, when you said like Trump, that's what changes it. But if you just take Trump out of it,
right?
And you're saying, so if you take Trump out of it, and you're saying, okay, it's Pence who,
like someone who stands up,
who really
says,
sincerely believes,
yeah.
but
and then someone who doesn't really believe, but because the party goes along with all the tenets of the conservative, religious, whatnot, they say, God bless America, but really they don't go to church. They don't believe. It's obvious they don't believe, and they're just using religion to get where they want to go.
Yeah, I mean, you've given me two sort of awful choices, although it's still easy. Most people who run for public office don't care about religion. Most people. They care about it politically. Ronald Reagan wasn't a religious guy. Ronald Reagan, tipped the hat to religion. They show respect to religious beliefs and religious factions politically, but they don't believe. Same is true, I would suggest, of, I don't know, it's interesting. You have, attending church doesn't make you a believer. It just makes you a church attendee.
Yep.
I think in general, I guess just to put it from a bottom line standpoint, I don't care how much somebody says they're into religion, how much somebody shows up at church. I really only care about what they do. And so, to me, Pence made a pact with the devil. He's a supplicative person because he's already a person who's so given himself to God and to a religion that it's easy for him to give himself to authority. He gives himself to Trump. He gives himself to the power of the presidency. And he knows his duty then is to give himself to the presidential agenda. That is the gig, right? You're not there to challenge the president. You're there to support the president. So you could say he performed his role dutifully over a 4-year period. If you're saying, do I respect him for that? I don't respect almost anything that Mike Pence is about. I mean, again, everything I've seen him as part of, where he's trying the gay re-education programs when he was governor of the state. He took money from Planned Parenthood when he was governor of the state. But he's deeply religious. I don't care. That can be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, waving the flag of I'm deeply religious is a good thing or a bad thing. It shouldn't have anything to do with public policy and with crafting good legislation to improve the lives of Americans. Many Americans aren't religious. You need to take care of them. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be better, though, if everybody was religious? No, it wouldn't be better. Wouldn't it be better if fewer people were religious? Maybe. I don't know if that's true either. I want to keep it clear of government. And so when you have a guy who, I hate how much we wave around references to God. Hate it. God should have nothing to do with it. Plenty of people who don't believe in God do the right thing. Some of the most do the right thing people in terms of taking care of others, taking care of the environment, being honest, and truly extending a hand to so many who need it, are atheists, people I know who don't believe in God at all. So this God thing, we wave it around, and you're going to hear a lot more about it because you can't out-God the right. There's always going to be somebody else who's a better Christian than you are. And so I find it a very dangerous thing. And so Mike Pence, as I say, it's not the God part I object to. I have no problem with it. In fact, I think deeply religious people I have immense respect for whatever their system of belief and ritual is. But when it enters the governmental sphere, I lose respect. And I think Mike Pence is that guy who brings it into everything he does, Religion and patriotism are forms of control. I mean, I understand loyalty, and I understand loyalty to beliefs, but I really do. These are all comments. Julie says, I'm a Catholic, but some of my very favorite friends are atheists. Go figure. Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course, you can't pick your friends based on, belief structure. Increasingly in America, you can't pick your friends based on politics, right? I respect Pence for doing his job on January 6th. I think that's about it, says Randy. Yeah. Well, listen, good luck to him, and cuatro caños más.
Cuatro caños más.
These people are going to get shaken out. He's got great name recognition.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, let's turn to the Democrats for a second. The other guy with big name recognition on the Democratic side, apart from Biden, is who? If you said RFK Jr., yeah, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the guy with big name recognition, which is why he's polling, I think, in the 20s. Now, again, this is largely the result of people who don't really know what Robert F. Kennedy's about. They know John F. Kennedy. They know Robert F. Kennedy, his dad, right?
They haven't figured out this is the crazy Kennedy?
Yeah,
Every family has one.
And now let me say this about the crazy.
Yeah.
If you really listen to Robert F. Kennedy through the years, which I have, because I'm a tree hugger, okay? And he's a tree hugger, so I listen to other tree huggers. And he's not a stupid man at all. He's not just some crazy, he's not like Michael Flynn, Yeah. Michael Flynn, this seditious, awful, grotesque, holy roller who wants to reform America and make it ruled by the Western mullahs of the hard Christian right that want to rule America as a Christian nation. They want to take up arms to make America a Christian nation. They want to make it a nation of believers. That's Michael Flynn, and that's the kind of crazy that scares me. Robert F. Kennedy is a smart man who's done a lot of hard work and heavy lifting when it comes to the environment. I also think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an honest guy. I don't think for everything in his family, they haven't been on the take. They haven't tried to figure out how to enrich themselves like so many of the politicians that we talk about today. And Robert F. Kennedy on any number of issues is both provocative and well-informed. On vaccines, which is the thing that, and I think the reason that Kim calls him crazy.
Highly troublesome.
Yeah. He is an anti-vaxxer, to use the phrase, and he is someone who has been an anti-vaxxer long before the COVID vaccine. Okay, so he's not new to the party.
Yeah.
He is someone who has talked about vaccines, the use of vaccines and the administering of vaccines in very young people and the possible effects. The over-vaccination of society, the over-vaccination of young people. The preservatives in vaccines, he's talked about those. He's written about those. Now, let me say, some of that stuff is not only provocative, it is probably accurate, okay? And what do I mean by that? I mean that they've eliminated a lot of the use of mercury in many of these vaccines. Why did they do that? They did it because they found that there might have been some deleterious effects. Deleterious is a ding word. Of mercury, and I think mercury is now only in flu vaccine. But anyway, my point is, the guy's not crazy for everything he says, in my judgment. Mm-hmm. Some of this stuff is fact-based. I'll give you something else related to vaccines. And he's not the only one who says it. How come there is no way to take any kind of liability action against vaccine manufacturers or against these pharmaceutical companies that produce these things? So often, and this is where we've evolved in this culture, we've evolved to a place where so often there are complications of one sort or another. And there was a way to recover damages from these companies up until Ronald Reagan signed something saying, hey, essentially indemnifying these companies from any kind of liability action. That's why we have to sign those documents. When I got vaxxed, I signed those documents. When you got vaxxed, you probably had to also. So it's more than a little bit odd. So all I'm saying, Kim, is that not everything RFK Jr. says is loony. I think it's founded in some science that is both provocative and decent.
Yeah.
And so all I would say is I look at him as both an environmentalist and now as someone who questions science, and I look at him and try to look at him as unbiasedly as I can. Now you, go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like maybe all that you said is true, but when you are an anti-vaxxer and you come out against vaccines in general, you put the public's health at risk and you do the society that we live in a huge disservice. So it's possible that over the years, scientists have made changes to what the liquid vaccines are suspended in, or what preserves them, or what have you. But the benefits that we've seen from vaccines on our society are undeniable. And so I think someone is dangerous when they start not questioning, but coming out and saying, don't vaccinate. I think that's dangerous, and I think it doesn't serve us well.
I don't know if he said don't vaccinate, by the way. He might have. I don't know. I'm not, didn't come to this party with all my RFK Jr. stuff. But if he said that, it would strike me as irresponsible. I don't think he said that. So I'd love if we can, in evaluating people, at least keep it to what we think they actually said. But maybe he did say that, in which case you're right. That's loony. Look, all I'm trying to say, and I just started really in kind of the relevance of these names and name recognition in the presidential run. But
he was spreading
go ahead.
vaccine and misinformation in 2021, and he was banned from Instagram because of it. He repeatedly shared debunked claims about the coronavirus and or vaccines in general. He was a leading anti-vaccine voice during the pandemic and sowed doubt and misinformation about the shots. He, though, has had his Instagram account restored because he's now a presidential candidate. So because of that, Meta says he's an active candidate for president. We have restored access to his account. So, now here he comes back on the platform to, I don't know what he's going to say next, but yeah, that's what I can tell you.
How about Elizabeth Warren for president? Meredith said, well, she was my pick in the last go-round. I really wanted Elizabeth Warren. First, I love a woman. And I love, because I think men our ego, our aggression, our smack talking. Now you find Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, though. I mean, sorry, ladies, you've stepped up with just the same crap that guys are about. But Elizabeth Warren she is magnificent. I think Elizabeth Warren is a true advocate for consumers. She's an advocate for those who don't have a chance. I would have loved to have seen Elizabeth Warren become president. And I had hoped that she was going to really rock the show. She didn't have a lot of support from the black community, frankly. I think that hurt her politically. And she was never able to get, honestly, any real big momentum. And now she's viewed as too old. Okay. I mean, it's interesting,
how much do you think the whole Pocahontas thing hurt her, with Trump calling her Pocahontas?
Well, they're always going to find something, in the Oppo research, they're going to find something. It didn't help, but you're right. I mean, the Pocahontas is definitely, it was not and, she explains it, and, she explained her understanding of it, and it's always going to be explained, but the explanation never gets as much play as the nickname. So you're right. But it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, because she's not in the conversation now. And now the institutional part of the Democratic Party is going to fall in line behind Joe Biden, although I think they're troubled by his age. We talked about this on Friday, even though that, the falling down thing was just him tripping over a sandbag that's the same color as the floor. I've done that a jillion times, and any one of us could have, made that mistake. Joe Biden is far more agile and in better shape than Donald Trump. I mean, if you're just doing a side-by-side, come on, guys. Agile is a ding word, by the way. Yeah. So that's my view of Elizabeth Warren. I mean, I think essentially Joe Biden's going to go unchallenged. That's my feeling. Look, I'd love to see Cory Booker be president of the United States also. I think Cory Booker would be terrific. And these are not people who are wildly progressive either. There's Broadway Joe Biden. Yeah. In the yellow. We always put him in that yellow vet. So Kim will say, President Biden announced today a new support for the war in Ukraine. And I always say, well, he didn't announce it from the convertible vet, though, did he?
Sorry,
he did not.
That's a cool picture of Joe Biden.
It is super cool. Biden is in much better shape than most people. I agree with you. I have to say, for all this stuff about his age, every time I see him, the guy looks slim. He looks healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He likes these sports cars. Amy Klobuchar, they're asking. Karen says, what about her? I think Amy Klobuchar is a viable, she is, again, institutional Democrat. You're not going to get wildly progressive notions from her, but you're not getting wildly progressive notions from Joe Biden. I think that's one of the things I don't like about Joe Biden. I don't like his reach across the aisle politics. I don't. But I know that that's one of the things that carried him into office. But I think what you get, and then we will wrap up, but when you get a Joe Biden, you get the reaching across the aisle. You get a guy who is a product of the institutions of government. He's been in government for so long, and you have him reaching across the aisle and making concessions on things he shouldn't concede. Again, the pipeline through Appalachia, the fracking green light, the drilling in some pristine areas of the U.S. I'm talking about, U.S. owned parkland. There's no U.S. owned territory. There's no end to it. On the environmental side, we gave up a lot in this last back and forth. I wish there was a little more of the junkyard dog in Joe Biden instead of the genial negotiator. That's
the elder statesman.
Yeah, that's my bias, Too bad we can't try Sanders again, says Karen. Yeah.
How old is he? God, he's
Well,
ancient.
he might seem ancient. He might look ancient, but he doesn't sound ancient, and he seems vital in his ideas, which I really.
He does.
Well, Randy, you know something? You've got to. Yeah, let's not negotiate with those on the other side. We'll just refuse to compromise. You know what, Randy? I'm not saying you don't compromise, but I'm saying you do hang on to certain things. And I'll tell you something else, Randy, since you brought it up and you're making me angry now.
Why are you yelling?
The Democrats had the chance to get rid of this debt ceiling crap when they controlled all three, both houses of Congress and the executive branch. They had the power then, and it was brought up, and they didn't do it. There's a part of me that wonders if this isn't a way to give something up that you want to give up. So, yeah, I'm angry that they gave things up, and I'm more angry at the Democrats for not playing hardball with the things they say they care about, like this debt ceiling. Get rid of it already, and you had the power to do it. So that's where I am. There's Bernie Sanders. I think he looks fine.
He's 82, 82 years old. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a vital, vibrant 82. Mm-hmm. He's. But I hope
we also mentioned Klobuchar as well.
There's Kloby. Kloby looking good. Yeah. Look at you, Klobster. All right. Let me. Do I have something to do, Albert? What am I? Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.